This is the last YouTube video on income streams you'll ever need to watch. I've spent the last 15 years building over $10 million in income with simple, boring income streams, and I have good news. Anyone can do the same. If you can build out these 5 income streams, you can change your life just like I did. The first step to building your income streams is to maximize your earnings. So if you're just looking to get started, you're like, David, I don't have any money. I don't have any resources whatsoever. Well, then go out and get some resources. Get a W-2 job. Go work at Starbucks. Go drive that Uber. Go work at the nail salon. Whatever skill it is that you have that you can offer today, go out, start turning that skill into some money, because that is the fuel that is going to allow you to do everything else we talk about. But once you've got your basic needs taken care of, once you're able to put food on the table, all of your excess energy needs to be on building skills, not savings, building skills. So no matter what happens in your life, no matter what mistakes you make, you're ultimately going to be able to fall back on that high income skill. And that is why I love the trades. It's a roadmap for you to follow. And oftentimes you're gonna actually get paid to go out and learn these skills that cannot be taken away from you. Once you have a main source of income, you need to build out a second source of income by building an offer. Early on in my career, and I was working at Goldman Sachs during the financial crisis, I saw the financial world absolutely getting decimated around me, and I was convinced I was going to lose my job. So what did I do? I started a side gig, affiliate marketing. I figured out a way to go out and get demand for event tickets and was able to send that traffic to StubHub, and I got a commission every time somebody actually bought something. That's an example of a high value skill where I have a lot of leverage that I'm able to go out and put to work anytime I need to. You don't need a company logo, you don't need a brand, you just need the knowledge to be able to go out and build something like that. One thing that I think people getting started in a side hustle or looking to start a second income stream or starting to build something is they overthink it. They think, oh, I want a business. And when they think about a business, they think about all of the infrastructure and systems and people that are involved with the business, but you're not there yet. We're early on in our process. And the beauty is you build those skills, you build the framework, that's when you earn the right to start saying, oh, okay, how can I scale this? Or maybe I need to go to a higher margin industry. Maybe I should be doing this for plumbing leads, or maybe I should move it into solar sales because I really can go after the high ticket items and make big money. One of my favorite ways to do this is through actually like building an offer. If you're starting a local car wash or a mobile car wash, for instance, you're probably going to test a few different types of offers that work. Buy 2, get 1 free type of an offer. Or if you do it on this Saturday when I'm in your neighborhood to save me another trip, I'll give you 20% off. Maybe if you refer a friend, I'll give you 50% off so you get another customer. The only way you get that is by taking the action, doing the trial and error yourself, because you may be surprised what works for you, and what works for you may be something that's completely different than what works for me. And that's what getting started and actually taking those actions so powerful. Once you maximize your income streams, you can use your money in a way that most people completely ignore. Boring business. You've been lied to about investing for years. Passive income doesn't exist, but that doesn't mean you should ignore investments in cash flowing businesses. Now, I'm well aware that people absolutely love the idea of making money in their sleep, but the reality is that essentially every passive income stream requires maintenance. Part of how I was able to build FilterBuy without taking any money out of the business is I had a wife who had a job, and I had a rental property that I had bought in the Bahamas that paid me rental income. What's nice about something like the Bahamas rental property, especially when I bought it, is that the amount of income or the return that you get on it is much higher than the income that you would get from single family rental home in the US. The reason for that is because it's a much bigger pain to manage. I can be 80% hands off and generate outsized cash flow, and just understand that it's going to take some effort and I'm going to have to put some energy into it, and that's completely okay. Once you realize that and you step out of the illusion there's this magic passive income somewhere that you're going to be able to get without any work and without any risk, once you get over that, then it opens up so much more of the world to you. Most of the biggest cash flow wins come from boring local businesses that you understand better than anybody else. Vending machines, laundromats, car washes, RV parks, Airbnbs. I view these as examples of local opportunities that may make sense depending on your area. We may pass by local laundromats past that we say, hey, this could be a gold mine if only it was run a little bit better. Those are the types of unique opportunities that you want to be looking for in a local area. It's not so much that the laundromat business is the path to riches necessarily, but they can be great local businesses. They can be great local cash flow businesses. Now that you have cash flow, both from your income and investments, it's time to invest in the closest thing to guaranteed wealth. If you saved $1,000 a month or $12,000 a year from 25 to 45, 20 years, and that compounded at, call it 10% a year, you'd have $680,000 at 45. Now, let's say when you got to 45, your life got expensive. If you were able to not touch that money that you saved starting at 25 until you were 45, and that money continued to compound in the S&P at a 10% average annual compounded return, you'd have $4.5 million in that account when you were 65, 20 years later. That's the value of compounding. You saved $240,000 over a 20-year period earlier in your life, and that ultimately gave you $4.5 million at 65 when you wanted to retire. People will come up with all of these crazy investment schemes that you're like, oh, if you do all of this, you can get 10 or 15% a year by doing all this complicated AI investing. When you look back historically, just investing in the broad stock market with a diversified portfolio will get you a similar outcome with effectively doing no work. All you have to do is go invest in VOO, which is an S&P index fund, put in that $1,000 a month or $2,000 a month, whatever you can afford, and hopefully not even notice in the rest of your life. And I've seen actually some influencers talking about this lately, saying, oh, nobody gets rich doing index funds. It's only for rich people. Do a lot of other things if you want to get rich, and they're lying to you. And I just think that's such bad advice, because this is not a get rich quick scheme, but this de-risk you and de-risk your future self. It's what gives you the stability to be able to go out and take more risk later on in life and do bigger things that likely are going to give you more active income, because you've de-risked yourself early on. And that's why this is so important. We've already got our kind of guaranteed future retirement out of the way with our previous step, but you're more ambitious. You're looking for ways to really grow your money. This is where I want you to think about asymmetric upside. What I mean by this is these are investments where you're keeping your risk low, maybe your dollars and your time, maybe you're experimenting, but if it works, then it can really pay off in a big way. In my affiliate marketing career, I saw an opportunity. I saw how much potential there was to be made in affiliate marketing. I was very early in on that, and I took the risk of investing in ads in order to be able to build that business. I was able to take a couple $1,000s and turn that into $550,000 in a year. It was a unique window, a unique opportunity where I was able to take a little bit of skill, a little bit of activity, and a little bit of money and leverage that into a lot more money. And that is why I always talk so much about focus and about specializing in something. And it can be anything, but that is where you're going to find the best asymmetric bets, just because that's where you're going to have the most understanding and they're going to be the most obvious to you. You never really want to put more than 10% of your capital into one of these asymmetric bets at any given time, because they're not all going to win. And so you want to make sure that you're playing for the long term. It's always tempting to say, hey, I'm going to go all in on this one concept that can never lose. That's almost never a good idea, because things go wrong all the time, or things never play out in the way that you expect. I would never go all in on one of these asymmetric bets. If you want to start maximizing your earnings, watch my video on one-person businesses you could start for cheap. Some of those businesses changed my life.